Hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here and today it is time for another one of those FIFA 17 career mode challenge videos. I asked you guys what you wanted to see in this sort of style format of experiment or challenge here on career mode, and you guys overwhelmingly said that you wanted me to try and do a sort of challenge where I can win the Premier League by only using players under the age of 21. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. We're going to be using Spurs because they're not like the best team in the Premier League, but they've still got a few young players that we could use throughout this experiment or throughout this challenge, and they also give us the money to be able to go out and buy basically or almost a whole new team and bench realistically, because although there's a few players that we can use, there's not many that will last the distance, because this is going to be a 3-season challenge. If they become 22, we have to sell them straight away. So if they're 21 at the start of the season, they're eligible to play in that season. So this is going to be a video where there's a hell of a lot of transfers. It might be quite a long one, but bear with me because there's going to be a lot of action in terms of buying and selling players, and it's just going to be carnage as far as that is concerned, because we're going to be buying almost a new team. If you go on to enjoy it though, make sure to slap a like on the video and subscribe if you are new to the channel. But as you can see, all the players there that are transfer listed, anyone who's 22 or above will be sold at the start of this season. There are a few players that are eligible and that can be used for at least the first season. We've got Nkudu here, we've got Lopez. Dele Alli really is the main one. He's eligible for the first 2 seasons, but not the third. And there we are. The first player is on his way. Kyle Walker has gone to Dortmund, and we have been allocated £17.5 million. Right, I tell you what, guys, we're going to spice this up a little bit, just to make it a little bit more difficult. Although it's already going to be difficult, but we're going to make it even more difficult. The deadline for selling players is the first game of the season, because we're going to, the thing about this experiment or this challenge, if you hadn't already guessed, is we're going to have to sim every single game. If we've got players like Harry Kane still in the squad, the sim is going to make it so that he plays, which we can't have. So the new ruling here basically is that if a player hasn't been sold by the first game of the season, we're going to have to release them. So we've got our first deals on the table, and as I mentioned, we do need to bring in that right back to replace the already sold Kyle Walker, and here is going to be our replacement. Benjamin Henrichs, the 75 rated right back from Bayer Leverkusen, is going to be coming in, and maybe I've overestimated how much we're going to have to pay for some of these players. Only £6 million is the transfer sum, so Benjamin Henrichs becomes our first signing of this challenge, and the second one is going to be Sporting Gijón centre-back Jorge Mere, who's going to come in, and again, similarly to Benjamin Henrichs, he is going to be usable, I think, for this entire challenge. Third transfer might be somewhat of a sort of predictable one. Realistically, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this coming. It makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, we're trying to pass this. We're trying to succeed in this challenge, and one man that is going to allow us to succeed is Kylian Mbappe Lotin. So as much as this is very predictable, we are going to have to bring the 17-year-old in from Monaco. £21.5 million is the transfer sum, very distant to the 100 million that is being suggested in the media at the moment. 2 more transfers about to be completed then. This will make 5 in this first transfer window and in this challenge so far, and the first of which is going to be someone who probably won't be a starting 11 player for many of the seasons. He's really going to be a backup or squad player, although of course he has got really good potential, so he might end up being used, I don't quite know. But it's Henry Onyekuru, who's coming in from KAS Eupen in the Belgian league, has just signed for Everton in real life, and we've just bought him in for £7 million. And the 5th transfer is going to be this man, Alejandro Grimaldo, who we're signing for £5 million, plus our current left back, Danny Rose. That's one player we're not going to have to release. And also at this point, we've now sold Toby Alderweireld and Hugo Lloris. So that's Walker, Alderweireld, Lloris and Rose that we won't have to release. They've either been sold or they're being used in deals. But welcome to Spurs, Alejandro Grimaldo. And finally, as one goalkeeper is out the door, another one comes in. Again, a very predictable one realistically, but he's going to be the best goalkeeper that we can possibly buy, and he's going to give us a genuine chance of winning the league. In a league that also contains the likes of Thibaut Courtois and David De Gea, we're going to have a very good goalkeeper in between the sticks. So we brought in Gianluigi Donnarumma for only £23.5 million. That's actually less than we sold Hugo Lloris for. Not very popular at the moment, so I'm sorry if any Milan fans are watching, because I know he's just rejected a contract in real life. He's sort of holding out for more money. 2 more transfers then have been completed here, and these are 2 very big ones indeed. Jonathan Tah of Bayer Leverkusen, so the second player to come in from that specific German side. He is going to be joining the club for £32.5 million and 50k a week. week, and I flicked to it a moment ago by accident, but Thomas Lemar is going to be the second player coming in from Monaco for £26.5 million. That's quite a lot of money spent there in one chunk, almost our entire budget. And one of the final big signings that we needed to make then in this transfer window is this man here of Borussia Mönchengladbach. It is Mahmoud Dahoud, who will be coming in. He wasn't gonna join. It was gonna be Corentin Tolisso until I found out he was 22 at the point of buying him. So we had to end that with Tolisso. So we've gone in for Dahoud instead. £15 million, 60.5k a week, 79 overall. He'll be coming in and taking the spot that is currently, I think, held by Lesniak. So it'll be him and Winks in midfield. So here then is how the team is looking at this point. I realise we've done quite a lot up until this point, so if you need a breather to actually look at the squad and how it is looking, then here we are. We've obviously got Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal, Benjamin Henrichs, Jorge Mere, Jonathan Tah and Alejandro Grimaldo are your back four. Thomas Lemar is on the right hand side with George, Kevin and Kudu on the left. Harry Winks and Mahmoud Dahoud are in the centre, and Dele Alli playing as a number 10, with Kylian Mbappe locked in up top as the striker. So this is it then. The first game of the season has arrived. Harry Kane, to be fair, I'm going to allow that one because Barcelona have made a bid, but Christian Eriksen, Jan Vertonghen and Moussa Dembele have not been sold, and they need to go before we start this sim. So unfortunately we are going to have to release them. Who's going to cost the most to release? It's going to be Eriksen, so we'll do that first. I'm sorry, Christian, you're 86 rated, but you've got to go. I'm sorry. So Eriksen has been released. Jan Vertonghen, will release him first as well. I think we're allowed to release 3 players at a time. So there we go. The final player to be released then is Moussa Dembele. Christian Eriksen and Jan Vertonghen are already gone. Moussa Dembele joins them as the third player that needs to be released. And there we are. Player sold. The final player to go is Harry Kane to Barcelona. We've been given basically £30 million of that, so I think we've got about £45 million now. Not long left to go, I promise. There's including this guy, there's 3 more transfers left in this transfer window, but Matthijs de Ligt of Ajax is going to be joining the side. Now, I think he can play as a CDM as well. I really hope he can. If not, he's a pretty decent backup centre-back, and I'm sure he could be used as a CDM because that's where we need him really most, as a backup. He's going to be coming in from Ajax for £3.5 million. The penultimate signing of this transfer window is this man. Yet another player coming in from AS Monaco. It's Almami Toure, who is 74 overall, 20 years of age, so again, he's going to be another one of those players that probably doesn't make it the distance, and we'll probably have to sell him at the end of the second season. We're bringing him in, though, for £7.5 million, 14.5k a week, and it'll be pretty decent backup finally for fullbacks, because at the moment we've really only got Henrichs and Grimaldo who can do the job. Finally, the final transfer of this first transfer window is this man, Vincent Thiel, who's coming in from Metz, only on loan though. I did try and do a future fee, but they weren't having any of it. He's going to be coming in on a 2-year loan. If he's good by the time the second year loan has ended, then we'll buy him. If he's not that great, then obviously we'll sell him. He's got a high potential, has the striker from Luxembourg, but he's just a cool guy. He's doing well for his team in real life, so we're bringing him in as a backup striker. So we're halfway through the first season, and this is how the table is looking. This by far is not the season I was expecting us to challenge for the league. Obviously, we don't have any 21-year-old players that are at their highest point, if you get what I mean, when it comes to potential. The likes of obviously Mbappe, Donnarumma, and all of those guys will get significantly better for the second and third season, so those will be the seasons where we try and challenge for the lead. Manchester United are top of the table from Chelsea, City and Arsenal, and we are currently sat in 8th place. Not too bad, we just don't want to get relegated in this season. That would be an utter disaster. We're going to be signing Will Eni. That is what we're doing in this transfer window. On a level, though, we are signing Patrick Schick, who literally looks exactly the same as Will Eni. It's quite ridiculous. I didn't realise that until we signed him. But anyway, £15 million from Sampdoria. He's going to be our backup striker, although realistically, he's a very decent overall for his age. Again, though, he's 20. We'll probably have to sell him at the start of Season 3. It depends when his birthday falls. But regardless of that, he's going to be our one and only January transfer window, coming in from Italy for £15 million. So this then is how the first season has ended. It has come to a close, and we, with our under-21 side, have finished in 5th position. I said I'd be very happy if we came in a Europa League spot, and we've done exactly that. 5 points off actually qualifying for the Champions League. So hopefully we can go far in the Europa League in the second season, and we can earn a little bit of prize money that we can use in the January transfer window, sort of looking ahead a little bit. But it's quite a promising sign that squad has done that well in the league, because this was definitely not a season where we'd be challenging, and there's a lot of positions that certainly need strengthening still. So the second season then has arrived, and thankfully we're only going to have to sell 2 players, so that's not going to take up too much of this video. We've only got 2 players left in the side that are above the age of 21. However, it does mean we will struggle to bring in some money, although we do already have a transfer budget of £61.1 million, which should get us quite a few deals done, hopefully. And on top of that, we'll be able to sell these 2 guys, Clinton and G and George Kevin and Kudu. That's the one, yeah, Clinton and G and George Kevin and Kudu. But we've got an 86 rated centre-back on the free agents list who's 20. And we've got these 2 here that look really good as well. It seems like a gift from the gods, quite frankly, because he's going to be usable in Season 3 as well. I'm baffed, really. I'm utterly baffed. If someone could tell me in the comments section whether this has happened to them. Alright, so our next signing then of this second season, first transfer window, is this man, Vincent Marchetti. We're going to return to a bit of normal service now, return to normality even, by signing this kid. Basically just a backup central midfielder. We don't have one at the moment. We've literally got Josh Onomer, who is literally the only central midfielder backup, and he's an attacking mid. So I'd rather have this guy as well. 70 rated, 20 years of age. Now this is the big one, or it's what I expected to be the big one before we got a treasure trove of free agent players. We've got Ousmane Dembele from Dortmund coming in, 84 rated, 20 years of age, and joining for £42.5 million. And of course, he's going to be usable this season, and he'll be even better, and still only 21 for Season 3, so we'll still be able to have him at the club for the 3rd season, and by then he'll be about 86 or maybe even 87 rating. This then is confirmation that the first player has exited the door. We're probably only going to be selling 2 players in this transfer window anyway, and the first of which is George Kevin Nkudu. He has signed for Leicester and will be joining them for £13.5 million. We have been allocated £11 million of that, so we should roughly have about £20 to £23 million to spend. Can someone explain to me why we've got negative wages? By now, you'll probably already know how weird this challenge has ended up becoming, and I already made a video a few days ago about the glitch that has occurred in this video and in this challenge. If you haven't seen it already, there'll be a link to it in the top right of the screen. You can go and check that out just to get some sort of context for this video, although I'm sure I've already mentioned it in this specific video. But what we are going to do is, for now, obviously I am going to do an experiment where we see what happens to these seemingly 99 potential glitch regens. But for now, in this challenge, in a separate save, we'll experiment with them, but in this save, we're going to get rid of 2 of the 3. So Jack Hiwula is going to get released again, and Danny Amu is also going to get released again. Just because I don't want having 3 of them to be the reason that we win the whole thing. I'm going to keep this Kelly Evans guy, just because he is in a position that we need, and I feel like he won't single-handedly win us the league. So, 2 cool bits of news then at the end of this transfer window, and that is Clinton and G, the final player that we need to sell in this transfer window due to his age, is going to Newcastle for £5.5 million, and we've been allocated £4.2 million of that transfer fee. And finally, we have got a backup goalkeeper as well after the loss of Pau Lopez. He was actually on loan at the club, so he went back anyway. So we needed to bring in a backup goalkeeper behind Gianluigi Donnarumma, and we have brought in this man, Loic Badiashile, from AS Monaco. I believe he's French, so I'm not actually sure how you pronounce that. But whatever the circumstance, he's coming in for £1.5 million, 9.7k in wages. Very cheap, very low budget signing. So at the end then of the first transfer window of season number 2, this is how the squad is looking, and it is looking stacked in comparison to the team that finished 5th in the Premier League last season. We've got, of course, Gianluigi Donnarumma still in goal, 82 rated. On the right-hand side of defence is Benjamin Henrik, still on the road to 80 overall. He's 77 at the moment. Jorge Mere and Jonathan Tah are at centre-back with Grimaldo at left-back. The midfielders, of course, Ousmane Dembele, Mo Dahoud. We've got Kelly Evans, one of the glitch regens, but of course we released the other ones, otherwise it could have been a ridiculously stacked squad. And then Thomas Lemar on the right-hand side. Dele Alli is 85 rated and in the number 10 position, with Kylian Mbappe Lottin up front. The bench looks pretty decent as well, to be honest with you. We've got Cameron Carter-Vickers, Almani Toure, I think it is, from Monaco, Delict, Josh Onomer, Patrick Schick, Harry Winks, Onyekuru as well, and then some more guys in the reserves, the likes of Marchetti, Vincent Thiel, McGee. Okay, so this is looking pretty interesting. We've got halfway through the second season, or just over actually, because we've got a game played more than the teams behind us, but we are currently top of the EPL table. Now let's not forget, I gave myself 3 seasons to do this. 3 seasons to do this challenge. And at the moment, if things stay as they are, we could do it in 2. At the moment, at the halfway stage, we are topped by 4 points, but Manchester United and Manchester City behind us have played a game less. So if they win their games in hand, the gap reduces down to only 1. So it is very, very close indeed still. We've not got this tied up by any stretch of the imagination, but we are top, ahead of United and City. For fuck's sake, this has changed the game completely. Dele Alli has decided halfway through January he wants to leave. If we are to go into a 3rd season, if we don't win the league in this 2nd season, then we wouldn't have been able to use him anyway. The problem is it's going to really cause detriment, I think, to our 2nd half of the season, because I can't really think of any attacking midfielders who are of his rating. I think what we would have to do is go out and buy a bait midfielder like someone like Yuri Tielemans. Juventus have matched the bid, so we're going to end up having to sell Dele Alli. I mean, we're going to get a lot of money for it, but I don't think there is physically an attacking midfielder on this game that we could get to replace him. Dele Alli is officially gone for £61.5 million to Juventus. We need to find someone to replace him now. And that is exactly what we've gone and done. Yuri Tielemans, I literally said, I used his name and said I didn't want to sign him. But under the circumstances of selling Dele Alli, unfortunately I'd say unfortunately, he's a fantastic player. I just didn't, I suppose I can't even say I didn't want to go down the route of signing bait players. We've already signed Mbappe and Dembele, so just join the club, Yuri. You're coming in as our new number 10, 82 rated, £35.5 million from Anderlecht. Decent price, actually, to be quite honest with you, in this market at the moment, and 20 years of age. And we're actually creeping in another signing as well. Amadou Diawara will be joining from Napoli for £20 million. Again, pretty decent deal for him. 80 rated and 20 years of age, 73,500 in terms of his wages. He's coming in for now as a backup in terms of a holding midfielder, but by the time we're having to sell Dahoud, if we have to go into a 3rd season, he should be good enough to replace the German. So it's the end of season 2. Did we manage to hold on to the league title? Unfortunately for us, that may well be our best chance in this video gone, to be quite honest with you, although of course the squad will get better, hopefully, for next season, but only P4 in the end in the Premier League, completely bottling the 2nd half of the season, that we did finish only 6 points away from Manchester City, so it wasn't as if we finished that far behind. We could have easily finished 2nd place, having been 6 points behind the league winners, but unfortunately we are only P4, so only an improvement of 1 position, despite the massive improvements to the side between Season 1 and Season 2. So we are going to have to go into a 3rd season. This video is going to get a whole lot longer. Honestly, what's wrong with this game? Why does it go from July 2018 to October 2015? October 2015 isn't even on the game, for crying out loud. Season 3 has begun, and here is the list of players that we need to sell. We've got Almami Toure, Patrick Schick, Alejandro Grimaldo, Mo Dahoud, Thomas Lemar, and Jonathan Tah. We need to sell all of them, and they're all between 85 and 80. We've also got to get rid of Harry Winks as well. I completely forgot that he wasn't going to be young enough. I knew a lot of them were going to have to leave, but the problem is it's going to be finding players who are as good. That's going to be the issue. Trying to find an 85 rated centre-back that isn't that glitch 99 potential centre-back is going to be really difficult for the age group that we're having to stick to. So in terms of sales, we're already being pretty productive. Almami Toure, the ex-Monaco fullback, has gone to Berlin. And we've also just accepted this bid from Juventus for Mahmoud Dahoud. He's going to be going to Juventus for £35.5 million. So that's 2 of the 5 or 6 main players already out of the door for a decent price. And Harry Winks now has gone to Aston Villa for £10 million. On top of that, we're also going to be getting rid of Thomas Lemar, but in the shape of a transfer coming in. It's a bit of a painful one because I'm pretty sure the player we're swapping him for has a lower potential and lower overall rating than him, but obviously Lamar's 22. We can't use him in this challenge. So in through the door will come Brazilian right midfielder Malcolm from Bordeaux, 21 years of age, so he's fine to be used in this 3rd and final season of the challenge. And we're also going to be bringing in a Patrick Schick replacement, who's going to be on his way out the door soon, by bringing in Argentinian youngster Lautaro Martinez from Racing Club in the Argentinian league. Looks like a very good player, got very good potential, 78 rating, but 20 years of age. He'll be a very decent backup, as he's just about as good as Patrick Schick was. 2 more signings then coming in through the door, first of which is this one. Again, it's a pretty painful one because it's a player coming in that's worse than the player we're using, and hence the player going out. Theo Hernandez from Atletico Madrid is going to come in. Honestly, the best left back of his age group, and he's only 79 rated, so we're really struggling, unfortunately, to find a replacement for Alejandro Grimaldo, who of course has just turned 22 and hence has to go in the opposite direction to Atletico. It's unsurprising that the Madrid-based side accepted this bid, given they actually get by far the better of the deal. But Theo Hernandez will be coming in. Hopefully he can grow to an 80 very, very quickly. And then the second transfer is going to be this one. In fairness, it's a complete and utter bargain for Jesus Vallejo, who comes in from Real Madrid. But again, he's meant to be a replacement for Jonathan Tah, and he's 5 overall less. And here come probably the final 2 signings of this transfer window. Actually, no, we might make one more after this, actually. But these are the final main ones. And the first of which is Timothy Fosu-Mensah. Basically a backup right back, can also play as a holding midfielder. So he can be a backup there as well. Decently versatile. He's coming in from Manchester United for £10 million. Don't really know how I forgot about this guy until now, quite frankly, so don't even ask how he hasn't been talked about up until this point. And the final one is this guy, Malang Sarr. I can already sense eyebrows being raised at the bid that we made, but no one was bidding for Jonathan Tah. We don't need the money from selling Jonathan Tah at this point. I really do like OGC Nice, and I've bought many a player from them, so I'm giving them a gift. They can have Jonathan Tah, 85 rated centre-back, isn't usable anymore in this challenge or experiment or whatever, so he's going in the opposite direction for Malang Sarr, who's a good backup at centre-back and can also play as a left-back, so should prove to be very useful for this season. So this is it then, 100% the last transfer it should be of this challenge unless someone decides they want to leave in January. Patrick Schick has just exited the door for Celta Vigo, and we're bringing in yet another backup striker, just to fill up some depth, to be quite honest with you. We've got the money to do so. So Landry Di Marta from KV Ostende, I think he's about 75 or 76 rating by this point in the save. He's coming in as backup for Kylian Mbappe and of course Lautaro Martinez, who we signed earlier on in the window. So this is it then. This is the side for the final assault towards the Premier League title that has evaded us so far in this challenge. Donnarumma as per usual in goal. Henriks and Mere, they've been here from the get-go at right back and centre back, with new partners in defence being Vallejo and Hernandez. Dembele is still at left midfield with Diawara and Kelly Evans as the defensive midfielders and Onyekuru as a right mid. Tielemans is at number 10 with Mbappe just ahead of him, 83 rated. On the bench, it's looking relatively stacked, to be honest with you. Timothy Fosu-Mensah, Malang Sarr, De Ligt, Josh Onoma, Di Marta here as well as Marchetti and Malcolm. And into the reserves, we've even got Lautaro Martinez here as well, who we forgot to put into the subs bench. He's joined in the reserves by Walker Peters, Marcus Edwards, Carter Vickers and Harrison, as well as our backup goalkeeper, Badiashile. We're halfway through the third season and this is how the table is looking, and to be honest with you, it's looking even more bleak than it did last season. We were leading the table in Season 2 and this time we're 6 points back, but of course, we have to remember we lost the lead. We lost the league from being that sort of distance ahead of everyone else, so it is of course possible to get back on to level terms and overtake the team in first, which is interestingly enough being Crystal Palace. United are second, Liverpool third, and then it's of course ourselves in fourth. I did expect this in the first half of the season, if I'm brutally honest, because this team is worse than the team we had at the start of the second season, especially now that Ousmane Dembele is actually injured for 4 months at this point in the season, so we've lost our second best player in the side due to injury. But we're going to sim to the end of the season and we're going to see whether we can overhaul that 6-point difference and take the league title. So it's our final opportunity to win the league. Season 3 has ended. Have we done the unthinkable? Well, we've come pretty damn close to doing it, but unfortunately we have fallen short once again, but it is an improvement on the second season, at least in terms of position, although I think we've actually scored 1 less point than we did in season number 2. But unfortunately for us, it is Manchester United who have won the league with 73 points, 8 points clear of ourselves in second place. To be honest with you, that is pretty impressive because I think the squad genuinely is worse than it was in season number 2. Only a little bit, but it is, I think, just a little bit worse, especially in defence, quite frankly. So that just proves that we probably could have won the league in that second season if we didn't bottle it in the second half of it. You can see that Liverpool and Manchester City came 3rd and 4th. Crystal Palace were top of the table at the halfway stage, but has since dropped to P5. If you want to try this at home, then make sure to do so. Pretty fun, actually, to be honest with you, and there's a lot of scope for signing players as well. I suppose you could always do this sort of thing, but as a road to glory as well. You could start in a lower league and try and sign players that are under the age of 21 and build your way up through the leagues and just carry on doing that until sort of whenever you win the Premier League, which would be even more tricky. but would be a pretty cool experiment or a pretty cool challenge to do if you've got the time. Nevertheless, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then slap a like on it and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It's been a pretty long one, but if you've got this far, then make sure to leave some suggestions for challenges and experiments to do in the future down in the comments section. You can also now follow me on Twitter as well. My handle is on the screen. It is @theofficialfng, and links to it are down below in the description if you want to go and follow me over there to see what things are like outside of the world of YouTube. But it has been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Come to the vape looking like gold medalist with Kurt Angle boots on. And I don't wear the boot on, but they got normal shoes on. Gonna like, yo, with the shoe from. Get them to the yo, Uncle Jar. I ain't got a flex on no one. I'm the original Don. Come to the vape looking like gold medalist with Kurt Angle boots on. And I don't